Raiders' Lyle Alzado helped make the afternoon a hideous one indeed for the New York Jets. Sending someone to block number 77 was like asking Pee Wee Herman to stop Conan the Barbarian. Alzado produced 2 of the 10 Raiders sacks that transformed number 7 Ken O'Brien's pass pocket into a pressure cooker. To protect O'Brien from the likes of number 75, Howie Long, New York called on 3 blockers to counter this Herculean hitman. But the triple teaming merely allowed number 91, Brad Van Pelt, an unobstructed path to the Jets' vulnerable quarterback. O'Brien's 29 pass attempts yielded 0 dividends for the Jets, and one of them resulted in a costly mistake. Number 30, Stacy Turan's 76-yard interception return contributed to a 31-0 Raider victory on an afternoon in which Ken O'Brien must have felt like the central character in a Stephen King horror novel. The Jets couldn't handle their embarrassing defeat in Week 1 at the hands of the Raiders. So against Buffalo, New York did the embarrassing. Abiding by the old gridiron proverb, do unto others as they have done unto you, the Jets took more than poetic license with the Bills. They hammered them. Although he's worked his magic in the past, Vince Ferragamo allowed scoring opportunities to disappear as defenders' hands were quicker than his receivers' eyes. Ferragamo threw 4 interceptions, but none more costly than this misfire to rookie cornerback Kerry Glenn, number 35. The Bills were the epitome of low comedy, while Freeman McNeil exemplified the Jets' high heroics. This workhorse galloped for 192 yards, including this 69-yard sprint, the longest of his career. The Bills found out that trying to hold back number 24 is like harnessing a team of Clydesdales. From incompetent to incomparable, the Jets concluded their Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde transformation with a monstrous 42-3 win over Buffalo, their largest margin of victory in almost 20 years. The competitive fire that once burned brightly in the eyes of the New York Jet defense has simmered of late. But judging from the way they seared through the Packer offensive line to help send Lynn Dickey to an early exit to the locker room, it's safe to say that the sack exchange is sizzling again. The Jets constantly pressured the highly immobile Packer quarterback. And before Dickey had a chance to rest his battered body in a warm jacuzzi, he spent much of his time observing the game from the seat of his pants. Such was not the case with Jet quarterback Ken O'Brien, for he has well learned the value of being able to roam around the pocket. O'Brien's first quarter touchdown toss to Tony Page was all the scoring New York needed, as the Packer offense, even with Dickey's replacement Randy Wright at the helm, failed to ever get off the ground. The Jets prevailed 24-3 and have now outscored their opposition by a 66-6 margin over the last two games. There can be no doubt about it. Even if the stock market picture has been hazy of late, the New York Stock Exchange is clearly on the rise. The heat is definitely on again for the Jet defense. That could make them contenders in the AFC East. Team, it is a novelty for the New York Jet offense. After being beaten on this Ken O'Brien to Kurt Stone flea flicker, the Indianapolis Colts decided that the only way to derail the Jets from any more deception was to get downright mean and physical. The hitting took its toll on both sides, and the field soon resembled a pinball machine with a player holding the football banging into a number of obstacles. Unfortunately for the Jets, Colts tight end Pat Beach proved to be a human wrecking ball who tallied up points. For a moment, it appeared that Beach was out for the count, but in reality, it was the Jet defense that was a-hurtin'. 3 starting defensive backs were lost for the game, a fact that struck home when Raymond Butler slithered through their secondary for a 72-yard score. The Colts were down by 5 and knocking on the Jets' doorstep late in the game when New York summoned what last ounce of strength it possessed in a furious goal line stand. Indianapolis came up short, and when all was said and done, it was the Jets who stood tall on the front end of a 25-20 victory. Although the Los Angeles Rams have gotten off to a good start, their new quarterback has not. In Cincinnati, the center of attention was quarterback Boomer Esiason, and the only sweep on his mind was one that led straight to the goal line. The Bengals took a quick 7-0 lead, but the New York Jets soared right back with Ken O'Brien's pinpoint passing and the return of a healthy Wesley Walker, number 85. But it was a different Walker play which turned the tide for New York. This O'Brien pass was intercepted by Lewis Breeden, number 34, at the 6-yard line, and his momentum carried him into the end zone where Walker tackled him. But since the NFL interception momentum rule applies only within the 5-yard line, the Jets were awarded a safety, which programmed the Bengals into a self-destruct sequence. Number 21, Kirk Springs, returned the ensuing kick 58 yards to set up the decisive score. Mickey Schuler's touchdown sealed the 29-20 victory for the Jets, who will take a 4-1 record into next week's AFC East showdown with the Miami Dolphins. An AFC West battle took place in Los Angeles.
McNeil produced the AFC's 2 highest single-game rushing performances of 1985. His 192 yards against Buffalo in Week 2 was a team record, and he tunneled his way for 173 yards in a 6-week encounter with Miami on Monday night. The offensive line of Marvin Powell, Reggie McElroy, Joe Fields, Jim Sweeney, and Dan Alexander formed a wall that neutralized the Dolphin defense. The line allowed just one sack in a 23-7 victory, and this fifth consecutive win left the Jets in sole possession of first place in the AFC East. Non-stop defensive pressure resulted in Dan Marino's lowest numbers as an NFL starter, and hard-hitting defense garnered the spotlight 2 weeks later.
While the 49ers continued to stumble, the New York Jets have hit their stride, and when they marched into Foxborough, they owned sole possession of first place in the AFC East. In winning 5 straight, the Jets had flicked foes aside like minor annoyances. But last Sunday, it was Andre Tippett, number 56, who did the flicking. Although the Patriots linebacker registered 3 sacks, Ken O'Brien eventually found the time he needed to place a pair of long-distance calls to Wesley Walker, number 85. The Jets, however, were only able to convert one of these bombs into a score, and Steve Grogan was able to respond with a touchdown strike to Irving Fryer, number 80. Making his first start in more than a year, Grogan's play calling and play faking fooled the Jets. This play fake forced 2 New York defenders to commit themselves to a run. Then Grogan's naked reverse caught the Jets with their pants down to give New England a 20-13 win. Engineering a triumph over the Jets was something that Dan Marino had failed to accomplish 2 weeks ago in New York. Unlike the World Series, the outcome of a Seahawks-Jet game is usually easy to predict. The Seahawks had triumphed over the Jets in 7 previous encounters, and they appeared to be smoothly sailing towards number 8 when Dave Craig hit Darrell Turner on this 45-yard second-quarter scoring pass. Meanwhile, Jet quarterback Ken O'Brien, who was making his first appearance against the Seahawks, found out why his veteran teammates speak of Seattle and jinx in the same breath. Tipped passes are one thing, but O'Brien must have felt spooked when this sack on the Seattle doorstep netted the Seahawks 6 points. At the end of his 79-yard touchdown run, Jacob Green looked like a combination of William the Refrigerator Perry and a late finisher in the New York City Marathon. But like a long-distance runner who refuses to quit, the Jets, led by Joe Klecko, crawled their way back into the game. New York shut out Seattle in the second half, and their offense found its stride on the legs of Freeman McNeil, number 24. McNeil ran for 151 yards and added a touchdown reception. And with a little over 5 minutes remaining, Ken O'Brien capped the Jets' comeback by hitting Wesley Walker for the game-winning touchdown. The Jets prevailed 17-14, putting an end to the Seahawk Hex. More importantly, the victory gave New York sole possession of first place in the AFC East. A mid-season spot at the top that no one could have predicted.
Well, the Jets are doing it with defense, and I tell you, I think somebody ought to shake the hand of their new defensive coordinator, Bud Carson. He came in and changed their base defense from a 4-3 last year, which was somewhat successful, to a 3-4 this year, which is even more successful. And I remember there was an awful lot of grumbling, not only from the fans, but from the players. This isn't going to work. The old story, nothing succeeds like success.
You know, for the Jets, they finally defeated the Seattle Seahawks. They hadn't done that before, and this is a big plus for them. But there's a stat I think we ought to look at. Giveaways takeaways. The Jets are ranked #1 in the AFC in takeaway ratio this year. Seattle last year, that's how they won, by doing things like that. And David Craig last year had a terrific year. He and Danny Marino were 1 and 2 in passing the year out. And that was without a Kurt Warner.
Meanwhile, at the Hoosier Dome, the Indianapolis Colts experimented with Jane Fonda's new workout. But what resulted was a work-over at the hands of the New York Jets. Quarterback Ken O'Brien made the Colts feel the burn as he passed for a career-high 3 touchdowns. Wesley Walker, number 85, gave the defensive backs a thorough aerobic test. While number 99, Mark Gastineau, recovered from a broken thumb, limbered up the Colt offensive line with some moves not even Jack LaLanne could master. New York tallied 6 sacks, but it was the #1 rushing offense in the AFC which elevated this game from workout to blowout. Despite a battered back, Freeman McNeil, the NFL's leading rusher, totaled 149 yards and set a good example for Dennis Flygen, number 23, who notched his first pro score. This 28-yard run iced the Jets' 35-17 victory, their first season sweep over the Colts in 4 years. With the best record in the conference at 7-2, the Jets look quite fit and are primed for a fight with the Miami Dolphins this Sunday in the Orange Bowl. In Miami, the Dolphins hope to regain a foothold in the AFC East with the return of their mighty might with a magical move, Mark Duper, who had missed 7 games with a broken leg. He proceeded to celebrate his homecoming with the finest single-game performance by a receiver in team history. Duper caught 8 passes for 217 yards, including this 60-yard touchdown, and paved the road for his battery mate Mark Clayton, number 83, who had been shut out of the end zone for 8 weeks. Clayton's score gave Miami a 14-3 lead, but the New York Jets quickly displayed the form which had garnered them a 23-7 victory over Miami just 4 weeks ago. Freeman McNeil keyed the comeback, and with 1 minute 6 remaining, Ken O'Brien and Rocky Cleaver, number 89, hooked up for the apparent winning score. If the Jets won this contest, they would take a commanding 3-game lead over Miami. The Dolphins had their backs to the wall and welcomed even the most outlandish advice. But Miami stuck with their gambling philosophy and hit the jackpot with 41 seconds left thanks to a one-armed bandit named Mark Duper. With perhaps the most sensational catch of the year, Duper not only won the game, lifting the Dolphins over New York 21-17, he may also have salvaged their season, rekindling hopes of a division title. With their terrifying twosome back at full strength and the return of the team's confidence and poise, Miami may continue to write more amazing stories, with endings that not even Steven Spielberg could imagine. But it went up 16 minutes late in the Meadowlands, where a power failure delayed the start of a meeting between the New York Jets and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once showtime got underway, the Jets demonstrated that their timing was a bit off as well. The Jets' bag of tricks won't make Doug Henning jealous, but they quickly overcame a 14-0 deficit and eventually piled up a 41-21 halftime lead. Number 82, Mickey Schuler, grabbed 3 touchdown passes from Ken O'Brien, who is starting to look like the best Jets quarterback since Joe Namath lit up Broadway. Maybe one day O'Brien will be starring in pantyhose commercials and movies like C.C. and Company, especially if number 88, Al Toon, continues to develop as a prime target. Against Tampa Bay, Toon caught some of O'Brien's best shots, but he also caught one of the Bucs' best shots. Toon bounced back from this hit and bounced off of another to score a 78-yard touchdown that accounted for O'Brien's 5th scoring pass in a 62-28 Jets victory. The Jets became the first team since Atlanta in 1972 to score 60 or more points in a game, which also meant that Tampa Bay became the first team since New Orleans to give up 60 or more points in a game. It's been that kind of year for the Bucs, who have been suffering from power failure throughout 1985. The Jets, on the other hand, have definitely established themselves as one of this season's most electrifying teams. The New York Jets wore the look of someone who had stood toe-to-toe with Marvin Hagler. But this team, which has been an eyesore for the past few seasons, has emerged as an eye-catching contender in the AFC East. And last week, they slugged it out with the Patriots for first place. The most telling blow was Ken O'Brien's perfect lob to Wesley Walker, number 85. Walker's 88-yard touchdown gave the Jets a 13-3 lead. But the resilient Patriots, riding the crest of a 6-game winning streak, sent the game into sudden death on a field goal and Tony Eason's scoring shot to Cedric Jones, number 83. In the 5th period, the Jets found a savior in punt returner Kurt Sohn, number 87. Sohn's 48-yard sprint set up Pat Leahy's field goal attempt with 5 minutes left in overtime. The Jets' 16-13 victory gave them sole possession of first place in the AFC East. While they looked tailor-made for a title, one Chicago Bear didn't fit quite as snugly into his championship robe. Traditional setting for a Thanksgiving Day, but the Jets' Ken O'Brien didn't exactly receive a festive welcome from the Lions. With William Gay, number 79, carving up New York's offensive line, O'Brien was one bird who was burnt rather than basted on this holiday. Gay proved troublesome enough to draw double teaming, but on this play, 2 blockers couldn't prevent him from forcing the first of 2 O'Brien fumbles. O'Brien, the AFC's most sacked quarterback was dumped 7 times on the day, while Eric Hipple enjoyed a more secure pass pocket. Hipple victimized New York with 4 touchdown passes, including 3 to Leonard Thompson, number 39. The 31-20 win was Detroit's 6th home victory without a loss in 1985. On the road, where they are a paltry 1-6, the Lions resemble Elmer Fudd stumbling around near a rabbit hole. But at the Silverdome, they more closely suggest Superman in his Fortress of Solitude. 3 days after the Lions beat the stuffing out of the Jets on Thanksgiving, the Philadelphia Eagles were in the process of feasting on the Minnesota Vikings. In Buffalo, the New York Jets kept pace with the Patriots by literally bombing the Bills. Ken O'Brien's club record 96-yard touchdown pass to Wesley Walker keyed a 21-point second quarter rally that led the Jets to a 27-7 victory. The Jets' 10th victory seriously jeopardized the playoff chances of the loser in the Broncos-Raiders clash. Done. They clinched their division title weeks ago. It was their opponents, the New York Jets, who were playing an if game. Only if they won their remaining 2 games will they be assured of an invitation to the playoffs. But the Bear defense was not interested in any ifs, ands, buts, or wherefores, as they limited Ken O'Brien, the league's top-rated quarterback, to just 122 passing yards. Chicago's Walter Payton was held to under 100 yards rushing for the first time in 10 weeks, but his knack for the big play kept the Bears a step ahead of the New Yorkers throughout the afternoon. 1 touchdown was all the Bears needed to douse the Jets' title hopes, and that occurred when quarterback Jim McMahon spotted tight end Tim Reitman with a 7-yard scoring pass. Few teams are welcomed with open arms to the Meadowlands, with the Bears left with the respect of all Jet fans and a 17-6 win. Not as well respected this season as last were the 49ers. Sunday in the Meadowlands, the New York Jets were picking up the pace because falling behind to the Cleveland Browns meant possible playoff elimination. The Browns had already clinched a division title. However, from the outset, it appeared they were the ones fighting for a wild card spot. Number 86, Brian Brennan's 37-yard punt return put Cleveland on top 7-3. But like an inexperienced relay runner in the heat of the race, the Browns dropped the baton and were eventually lapped. With number 99, Mark Gastineau, running the anchor leg, the Jets' defense ran circles around Cleveland's offense. New York held the Browns to under 250 total yards, and a second quarter field goal was Cleveland's only other score on the afternoon. Offensively, the Jets literally stole the game right out from underneath the Browns' nose. Number 87, Kurt Sohn's 10-finger discount was a masterful bit of thievery that left the Brown defense red-faced and empty-handed. Running back Johnny Hector, number 34, added 2 touchdown runs to help lift New York to a 37-10 win. The victory clinched a playoff spot for the Jets, who this Saturday will host New England in the AFC wild card game.
All right, so while the Giants and their fans are celebrating, the Jets fans are still commiserating over their team's loss to the Patriots yesterday. If you're to take one key to why New England won, I think you got to say it's their ability to come up with the big play, especially on defense, when they had to have it. For a story on that, let's go back once again to the Meadowlands.
Number 56 in red at the top of your screen is Andre Tippett. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He got to the quarterback, Ken O'Brien, only one time. But the entire Patriot team was on a mission. Their mission was to get to the Jets' Ken O'Brien. They were determined to contain him. Andre Tippett knocked Ken O'Brien out with this devastating hit. O'Brien left the game with a concussion.
Can't let that guy sit back there and hold on to the ball, and, he'll kill us. We knew we had to put the pressure on there, and, we did what we had to do. That's basically,
I feel fine. Andre Tippett's a good player, and that's what he gets paid for, to play, and he did. And, you just got to find ways to stop him and try to take other things they give you.
This may have been the key play of the game. O'Brien had thrown 10 completions in a row. Jets lead 7-6. O'Brien for Wesley Walker, intercepted by Fred Marion. The 10 completions in a row would mean nothing, for this interception would set up the game-winning play. Just 6 plays later, Tony Eason will go to the veteran wide receiver Stanley Morgan. The Patriots had a 13-7 lead. This is the play that would put the nail in the coffin for the Jets. Johnny Hector, on a kickoff, is returning the ball at the 15. He's hit. He fumbles the ball. Johnny Rembert picks it up. Will go for the touchdown. Rembert wasn't thinking end zone. He was just trying to make a good, clean tackle.
I was able to get my arm in on the ball and get my other arm in around Hector and strip the ball and tackle him at the same time. And I fell on the ball and rolled over, and, one of the guys was hollering, get up and run with it. So I just hopped up and ran inside with the ball.
That was a quick turnaround in points, and it was difficult for us to get back in the game at that point. And, I guess it was a good play on their part. It was wild. I really didn't see what happened exactly, but, you'd rather be the one who could make the play instead of the one having it made on, and today they were making the plays.
While it's bitter disappointment for the Jets, it's on to Los Angeles and a rematch with the Raiders for Raymond Berry and the Patriots.
Is this real? Somebody pinch me.
We feel like we're over that hump now. In the past, the Patriots haven't been known, for a team that, have made it through the first playoff game. And, we're trying to change a lot of things around here. And, basically, this is the start of it. I really feel that first game, especially being a wild card team, is the hardest. And, I think we're making believers out of a lot of people.